A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Let us quickly dive into the business session. We have two updates for the day. The first update is from our VP Toastmaster Shiva. Over to you, Toastmaster Shiva.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. For next week, we have only 2 speech slots since one of the speech is the longest one. One speech slot has been booked by Toastmaster Sai Snehal and the other one has been booked by Toastmaster Apoorva. Apart from this, all the other roles are open for next week. Interested members can contact me to book your roles for the same. Go to the president.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva. Now can we have the update from our BPM, Toastmaster Sharanye?
Good evening, everyone. So this announcement is regarding the membership renewal from the term April to September. So there are 26 people who have already renewed, and I request all the members to renew as soon as possible. Thank you, and back to the President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sharanye. Now the surgeon can take over.
Good evening, one and all. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All of us remember the year 2020?
Yes.
I think generations will not forget it. Yes? What was one thing, what you guys think, what we thought, once we come out of that pandemic, we are going to do something about it? One thing what all of us thought about. Freedom, travel, health. Wasn't health on everyone's mind when we came out of Corona? No. I wanted to live. The only thing what was in my mind is let him get the vaccines first. Let me take all the doses, whatever I will, and I want to be alive. And one thing what came into my mind was I need to be more healthier from today onwards. How do I make myself more healthier? Because Corona opened our minds about how important is health to us now. How is our lifestyle? And how do we do that? That was what came into our minds. Now, how did we do it? How did everyone do it? Yes, everybody. How did we do it? We would have thought about it, right? We would have manifested like, okay, let's concentrate on our health. That was one of the most important priorities what we had during those 3 years. So what did you guys do? How did you manifest it? What did you thought? Okay, let me do this so that I can be a healthier person from now onwards. What did you all do? Don't talk about vaccines. All of us took it. So that was one thing we all did. Exercise. Lifestyle modifications. Habits. Change of habits, making it more healthier for us. Sleeping patterns, taking at least 6 to 8 hours of proper sleep.
Try innovative foods.
Try innovative healthy foods.
No, junk foods.
Junk foods will not come healthy. We tried getting more healthier. We tried started eating more at home because a lot of things were not considered healthier during that time. Yes, and what more did we do?
Detox.
Detox? Yeah. Yes. Yoga, walking, running, swimming. We tried all the exercises what we could do. We started manifesting, and we remember if we start manifesting, that's when that thing is going to be all ours. So, what do you think, guys? What is manifestation, according to you guys, in your own terms?
Making something happen by speaking to the universe.
Yes. Other guys, other people. What is manifestation according to you guys?
Being intentional about your actions.
Yes.
Being intentional about your actions.
Being intentional, keeping something in your desiring an action and following, making steps or making way to follow that action. That is what manifestation is all about. So with that note, I would like to invite our president, who is just finished his BCom and completing his MBA from Christ College, whose hobbies include sports and dancing, particularly Western. And he's a certified yoga instructor. And with a thunder of round of applause, I would like to call upon the president of the Mekong Communication Club, Toastmaster Ujwal.
There is a huge treasure hidden inside you. You just have to open your eyes and see it. Thank you, Toastmaster Latha, for such a lovely introduction. A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and my esteemed guests. I can see a couple of guests today. Can you please introduce about yourself and let us know how you got to know about our club? Starting from my right side.
So, good evening everyone. I'm Gaurav and I'm pursuing my MBA from Christ University. So, my hobby is watching movies, Netflix, and watching series.
Thank you.
I am an ex-Mekon Communications Club member. I was in Mekon Communications Club during the starting 2004 to 2007. I am working in Mekon in environmental section, and I love to come back.
Thank you.
Good evening everybody. My name is Ashwin. I'm from Bangalore. So, finished my studies, finished 7 years of work experience, and now I'm trying to figure out what next. So, wanted to try something in the speaking lines, public speaking, and see where it goes. So, that's why I'm here. And all the best to all of you, and thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Vaishnavi. I've been your last week as a guest. I'm a CA finalist and I'm a classical vocalist for the last 17 to 18 years. I've always loved giving speeches and pursuing public speaking as a major hobby of mine for a very long time. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Good evening everyone. I was there last week as well. So I'm Rohan, if you don't remember. Yeah, I'm a chartered accountant and working in consulting right now. Again, very excited to be here. Looking forward to opportunities to get to know everyone better and learn and grow with them.
Good afternoon, good evening everyone. Myself Varaprasad, and I was also here last week with these people. And myself, CA finalist. Yeah, thanks.
Good evening everyone, I'm Vijay. I'm a qualified chartered accountant and this is the first time I'm coming here as a guest. To be honest, I just had some free time and my friend called me.
Good evening everyone. My name is Gaurav and I'm studying at Christ University. This is my first time coming. And my mom just told me to come with us.
Happy evening everyone. I'm Vijay. I come from Bangalore Toastmasters Club, the largest in the country, the second largest. And this is my second time here. I'm glad to be back here for the education session. And professionally, I produce a podcast. It's called the Latha podcast, where we try to bring the greatest founders in the country on the show, to present the episodes. And Toastmasters has been a very critical aspect of my podcasting journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. I welcome to our club. Now can I have the minutes of the meeting read out by our Associate Secretary Toastmaster Mehjabin.
Thank you so much, President. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. Here are the minutes of the meeting number 1252 held on 26th of February 2024. Theme: Blue Sky Thinking. Word of the week: conducive. The business session started at 6:28 p.m. and was chaired by President Toastmaster Ujwal. In the business session, Vice President of Education Toastmaster Shiva announced that the table topic master role has already been reserved while all other roles are open. Interested members were asked to contact him for more information. In addition, an educational session will be held on March 4th. The session will be conducted by BTM Amitabha on storytelling. All the members are requested to attend the meeting. Vice President of Membership Toastmasters Sharanye announced that membership renewal is open for April to September term with a fee 5,580. Once the payment is made, kindly share the screenshot of the same. The regular meeting started at 6:30 p.m. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Sharanye started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to President Toastmaster Ujwal. Members who renewed in January were recognized by the district and received badges from the President. President Toastmaster Ujwal opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of the Ceremonies Toastmaster Latha. Master of the Ceremony Toastmaster Latha Nahar spoke on the theme and introduced the role takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Apoorva, Accountant Toastmaster Rachna, Grammarian Toastmaster Shubha, PP Evaluator Toastmaster Saket. The prepared speech session has had 3 speakers. Speaker number 1, Toastmaster Gajendra, was attempting level 1 project 2. Speaker 2, Toastmaster Shreya, was attempting level 1 project 3. Speaker 3, Toastmaster Pavani, was attempting level 2 project 1. And the individual evaluators were Toastmaster Sindhushree, Toastmaster Balaji and DTM U Bhat. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Jyoti and has 7 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Gaurav, and the winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker Toastmaster Shreya, Best Evaluator Toastmaster Balaji, Best Table Topic Speaker Toastmaster Vijay, Best Role Taker TAPG Toastmaster Apoorva, Best Role Takers MTG Toastmaster Jyoti. Acting President Toastmaster Shiva closed the meeting at 8:29 p.m. which was followed by the national anthem. Thank you and back to you.
Are there any amendments for the MOM?
No.
If not, I shall consider it as accepted and open meeting number 1253. It was during the second PU when I was able to witness the power of manifestation for the very first time. And guess what? Unfortunately, our class teacher was also our business mathematics teacher that time. Toastmaster Pavani, Sharanye and our guest Avik were outstanding students of our class. Outstanding students, and I mean it. Since Sharanye and I were the class reps, we both used to get escape from those scoldings during the parents-teacher meeting, leaving my fellow friend Toastmaster Pavani to bear the brunt. Those days were just amazing. But very soon, we had our unit test coming up, so our class teacher said all of us and asked us, this time who will be getting out of 4 in the mathematics? Can you all raise your hands? We were like, what? Out of 4 in business mathematics? Jokes, huh? But if I'm not wrong, 2 or 3 people raised their hand, and very surprisingly, even I raised my hand for no reason. Even till date, I don't know what made my mind to raise my hand that day. But yeah, that is what I had done that day. After the class, I was just freaking out. I did not know what to do. Because, Ujwal, you are a class rep. What you have done to yourself? What if you don't get out of 4 in business mathematics? What if your friends think of you? What if Sneha ma'am scolds you during the next parents-teacher meet? Come on, do something, Ujwal. These were the things which were running in my mind relentlessly. At the same time, my father had bought a book from Amazon and he insisted me to read this book as soon as possible. Let me tell you, this book was a savior for me at that challenging hour, because it was not just on the bed of rose. And as soon as I started reading this book, it just gave me all those positive vibes all around me, and it just made me to change my thought process at that time. The book which I'm talking about is The Power of Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. When I went through this book, there were a few instances which were written by the author which seemed difficult to believe. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. If we know our true potential, we can beat anyone in this world. Till my exams get over, I manifested and told my subconscious mind, yes, I will get out in business mathematics. Now there are different ways of manifestation techniques like writing journals, creating vision boards, writing 939 and practicing 777 methods and so on. But I chose a method which was very simple and trust me guys, it worked. Choosing upon which topic, which methods you want to choose is left on yourself. But then I'm just like not saying for the sake of it, it truly worked, and then I believe if you read this book, it will definitely change the way, the thinking process, I would say. If I had not this book on that particular day, I wouldn't not been able to change my thought process. A big shout out to this book and the author. So, having said that, let us introduce a special person amongst us. She is a BCom graduate currently pursuing MBA from Christ University. She is keen on the subject Samskruta. Her hobbies include baking, calligraphy and then singing. So without any further ado, let's welcome our VPM Toastmaster Sharanye with a thunderous round of applause.
Thank you, and I would want to complete Ujwal's story by telling that he did score 25 on 25 that time. So President come topper. A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and their esteemed guests present here. Good evening everyone. Exactly 2 years ago, this time when my CA classes got over, we were having a small chit chat with our professor. This discussion was very important, more important than our career, nothing related to CA, but it was about Vicky Kaushal and Katrina Kaif's marriage. This word manifestation was very popular at that time. So we were discussing about how they went to coffee with Karan, how they sat on that manifestation couch and ended up getting married. So that we did not even end the story. My friend just stood up and told, "Oh, I wish I could sit on that manifestation couch and just tell that, let me pass every attempt of CA in first attempt." My lecturer just laughed for a few seconds and he told, "You mad? It's not possible that they wouldn't have worked on their relationship. Manifestation is a combination of clarity. It is about how you believe what you want and how you work on it. So it is not about just imagining things, it's about how you work on it. What is CA? Who knows? You might get Katrina Kaif only one day. Just work on it." Most of us here manifest to become good speakers, and that is why we all are here. So there's one person who has helped starting Toastmasters is Ralph C. Smedley, who started Toastmasters in the year 1924 at YMCA Santana, California. Today, Toastmasters has 270,000 members. It has more than 14,200 clubs and it is situated in 148 countries. And one such club is our Mekong Communication Club, which started in the year 1998. For better understanding of all the guests here, I'll be explaining how a Toastmaster session works. And today's session is a little special. So the first session is an educational session which is given by DTM Amitabha Roy. So this session is where a speaker, renowned or experienced speaker comes behind the lectern and gives a speech about a particular topic. Now coming to the second session, that is the table topic session. The table topic master will be giving topics to random people sitting here and the people should give the reply immediately. Coming to the third session, that is a general evaluation session. The general evaluator will be evaluating all the speakers and the proceedings of the meeting. So for a smooth functioning of any meeting, we need a few important role takers, and when I call upon the role takers, I request them to stand up and give a brief about their role. Starting off with timer Toastmaster Rachana.
evening, everyone. As a timer, I will time the table topic speaker, the education session, and the evaluations. I will alert each speaker of the time that they have left by using the green, yellow, and red flags. The table topic speakers, the max that they may speak is 2 minutes. So at the 1 minute mark, I'll raise the green flag, 1 minute 30 the yellow, and 2 minutes the red. For the individual evaluations, the max that they may speak is 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, I'll raise the green, 2 minutes 30 the yellow, 3 minutes the red. For the education speech, the max that it may run for is 20 minutes. At 16 minutes the green, at 18 minutes the yellow, and at 20 minutes the red. There's going to be a QA session after that, which may run for a max of 12 minutes. So at 8 minutes I'll raise the green, at 10 minutes the yellow, and at 12 the red. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Next comes the R counter, Toastmaster Shubha.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I'm the R counter for today. My responsibility is to check speakers for certain crutch words that are used, that speakers are dependent on to sort of connect sentences. So I'll also be listening to overused words or repeated words, or when there's a certain pause between speeches. And I'll report the same during the evaluation session. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shubha. Next comes the Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator, Toastmaster Akshay.
Good evening, everyone. As the Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator, it's my responsibility to ensure that the meeting is held according to the club bylaws. So I request everyone to please keep your mobile phones silent, and please enter and exit the room only during an applause, and avoid speaking on topics such as sex, religion, and politics. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshay. Next comes the Grammarian, Toastmaster Saket.
So, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word is reverence, which means deep respect for someone or something. For example, the general evaluator shares a deep reverence for storytelling. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and also report the usage of the word of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saket. Without further ado, let's start off with our first session. Today's meeting has a special session, like I mentioned earlier, which is called as educational session. Today's speaker is an engineer and an MBA graduate. He is with TCS and was working with HP earlier. His hobbies include reading and he loves photography. And today's session is all about business storytelling. I repeat, today's session is all about business storytelling. So please help me welcome today's speaker, DTM Amitabha Saharoy.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I know that an education session almost consumes half of the time of the meeting, so thank you for accommodating that. And especially thanks to Shiv, who has been extremely diligent in following up with me to make sure that I deliver this session. So thank you. So with that, let's get started. So when I chose this topic, I did a little bit of profiling of the audience to understand what is the background of the audience in a way that what I share here is one, useful to the audience, and B, is based on my experience. So we need to bring this together. So what I found is that a good part of the audience in our club is studying. Let's say I saw a lot of aspiring CAs there, a lot of aspiring MBAs. Then a good part of the audience is also just recently graduated and gone into a professional job or a business. And there are a few like us, like me rather, who's a minority who spent maybe 20, 30 years in the industry. Okay, so that's a cross section. So I'd imagine that most of you at some point in time we are either talking to a customer, talking to the business, or will soon be doing that after you graduate. Okay, so and on one hand you're building a good base in communication here. So would it not be nice if you can layer on that business communication skills, how you can tell business stories to your customers in a way that you can engage with your customers better. Just by show of hands, today how many of you talk to customers? And how many of you would like to talk to customers? Okay. I'd be a little surprised if there's anybody in this club who either is not talking to a customer or who would not be talking to a customer. So, and a customer could be a stakeholder like someone who you are doing podcast to also. So everybody is a customer. If somebody is responsible for bread on the table, they are a customer. Okay, so that's as simple as that. Okay, so okay. So with that, let's look at the kind of background that I bring to the table in terms of being able to help the audience here to tell business stories. Okay, so I have spent about over 25 years in the industry, working with multinational organizations like HP and currently in TCS. And I am currently a product owner. What that means is that I have a product, technology product based on artificial intelligence that helps customers in the FMCG industry to grow their top line and bottom line. So underneath that there's a lot of complexity, there's a lot of AI algorithms, there's a lot of pricing, promotions and all that happens. And the challenge with using complex language is that nobody understands it, nobody appreciates it. So unless I translate that into a simple language, preferably using business stories, it is a little difficult for me to get across. My day is made if a customer signs a deal with me. And most of the time, almost every week I'm with either CXOs, CTOs, customers who are listening to my pitch in order to make a decision whether they should go for this product that I'm pitching to them. So it's high stakes. Okay, every meeting can translate into a business or can translate into something that I wish I had done better. So what I have found in my years of experience is that the best way to get across is use business storytelling. Okay, because that is going to simplify what we speak and also make them appreciate better, emotionally connect with them and all. Okay, so that's the background. So now all of us are students of communication. The fact that we come to Toastmasters here means that we are students of communication. So in your mind, what are some of the key challenges that you find when we communicate, when we try to get our message across, and more so to a business audience?
Using attention.
Yeah, attention, extremely good. We are getting attention of audience. So let me make some notes here. And especially in today's world, where our phone is just this thing away, getting attention is extremely
Misinterpretation.
Sorry?
Misinterpretation.
Yeah, misinterpretation. What could be the reason for misinterpretation?
Level of understanding.
Yeah, people have different backgrounds, so I need to come down to the level of the audience. Yeah,
Influencing.
influencing, extremely good. So hopefully we want to also not just inform the audience, but influence the audience. Okay, so it is not enough if I just deliver a business storytelling speech and then you go back and do your work as usual without incorporating some of the tips at least that you have learned here. So influencing, as a communicator, it's extremely important that we are able to influence the audience. Yeah. What other challenges, any other challenges that you think we address when we are trying to communicate?
Customers' interest on the product you are selling.
Customers interest, that is attention seeking, getting the attention covers that.
Technical details.
Yeah.
Technical details is difficult for them to understand.
Exactly, yeah. Complexity. So we lot of us are from technical backgrounds. We are studying engineering, we are studying CA. So what I found, even in my field team, there are a bunch of MBAs and engineers. So when I put them in front of the customer, the first thing I find is that they're talking in their own technical language. Okay, so we need to be able to talk in the customer's language or the audience language. So simplification of our communication becomes extremely important. So abstracting out complexity, addressing complexity. Many of you told it in different ways, it could be misinterpreting or whatever. So the reason for all that is that our message may be complex, our message may be a little difficult for the audience to understand. Okay, so then it becomes a little difficult, so we need to simplify the message. Okay, so I think broadly you've covered most of the challenges that we deal with communication. Of course, there are many, but if you put it under buckets, we'll find one or more. Okay. So now let's do this. There is no better way to learn than to actually do it. Okay, so if you want to swim, what do? You jump into the pool. Any amount of trying to read a swimming manual is not going to help you learn to swim. So let me start by narrating a business story. Okay, then we will dissect that business story and see if it is able to address some of these challenges that we just saw. Okay, and then we'll try to take some lessons from that. And I hope we'll have some time for some Q&A as well to address any questions that you have. Okay, so ready?
Yes.
Okay, so this is actually something that happened in Bangalore last year. Okay, so it's based on an actual incident that got reported in the newspaper. So here is what happened. So there were two drunken guys on the street, and as you can imagine, they got into a brawl, they got into a debate. They were in a very, very animated way discussing something, and that got really, really emotional, and they almost were fighting with each other. So, and they were creating a lot of noise basically. And then what happened? A passerby was going in that street. Actually, it's a busy place. It was close to a shopping mall. It's a busy place, and he was passing by. And he paused and he politely asked this guy, "Sir, why don't you go to your house and discuss? You seem to be discussing something really interesting. Please, why don't you go to your house and continue the conversation, because a lot of people here are getting disturbed." So now these drunken guys, they took very much offense to what this guy said. He told it in a well-meaning way, but these guys, they took offense to it and they told, "How dare you tell us what we should be doing? Huh? You are going to tell us what we need to do." Soon it got very ugly. It got very ugly, and in the heat of the moment, what that drunken guy did was he took the beer bottle that he was having in the hand, and then he smashed it on the head of that poor passerby. And then he was profusely bleeding and he was in a pool of blood. Fortunately for him, somebody who was going that way, an auto rickshaw guy, saw him and was extremely helpful and took him to the hospital, admitted him to the hospital, and also helped him lodging a police complaint. So normally we are not so, what should I say, having a trust in the police, but sometimes they can also do a good job. So the police immediately, they came to the site of the crime and they looked around. Looking at this guy who was profusely bleeding, obviously those two drunken guys escaped from the scene. So all the police guy could find was some shreds of glass from the broken bottle and also the cap of the beer bottle. So now the cap of the beer bottle has something that is interesting. Can any of you guess what that is, which can help in tracing this mystery? Yeah, it has a serial number. Okay, so the cap of the beer bottle, next time for those of you who drink beer, just check out your cap. It has a serial number and it's a unique serial number. Okay, the unique serial number, because alcohol is a highly regulated industry. So the government needs to know exactly where the product was sold, which retail outlet it was sold, which distributor sent it to the retail outlet, which plant sent it to the distributor. So using that simple serial number, you can trace that, any alcoholic product, you can trace it all the way to the factory, okay, and everything in between. So what this smart police officer did is that he looked at the serial number and he immediately went to the shop. He could find the shop where this whole beer bottle was sold. And what did he do there? CCTV. Yes, we also have a bomb blast incident, so all these things are playing in our mind, I can understand them. So he looked at the CCTV footage, he asked a few questions, and then he could kind of come down to the small time bracket within which that particular product might have been brought, and he got a nice footage of the listing, and he asked a few people around, including the person who was injured, and they could track down the culprits. Okay, so there's a happy ending to this rather bizarre accident, thanks to the beer bottle and the cap and the serial number on it. Okay, so that's the story, which was fortunately a happy ending. Okay, so now with this story, there are a couple of things, there are a couple of lessons we can pick out of the story. We can unpack the story and see what are some of the things that we can pick away from this story. So again, let's make it interactive. I'd like to have as many answers as possible. Let's see if it is answering some of the questions that we put on the board. Yeah. So what are some of the lessons from this story that we just saw?
Mind your business.
Yes.
Mind your business. Good.
Even
Yeah.
small details matter.
Small details matter. Yeah, attention to detail. Very good.
Communication also matters.
Yes, in what way communication mattered here?
The way he was interacting with his drunkards gave rise
No,
to
there are
action.
two things. I would like you to look at it from a particular lens. Okay, one is the actual incident, whatever happened. Okay, so hopefully don't go and mind the business of a drunkard and all that. But we are looking at it here as students of communication from a communication lens. So from a communication lens, assuming that this is a story that you heard, what are the things that either you liked in the story or thought that it could be better in the story?
So the passerby couldn't influence the mental.
The passerby could not influence.
Don't influence those who are influenced.
First of all, did any of you think that this story was worth taking notice, taking attention? I mean, would you hear this story if this was narrated in your class in college? No? Yes, no, why? Yes, no, why? No, yes, why? Yes. No? Or any context, yeah. Maybe not, why not?
There's no purpose in this particular whole communication what's happening. There's no outcome out of it. So there makes no sense of wasting time. If you're taking it as a communication exercise.
Okay, okay.
There's no grand overreaching purpose to the story. Like, maybe if you were telling us about how there was a product tracking feature that you were building, and you gave an example.
Right, you're getting to the point, yeah. So, see, this in the context of what you're saying is extremely important, okay, so, and I should have given a little more context. Okay, so this concept that we are trying to say is a concept of serialization using the serial number. It's some of you might have learned about supply chain in your MBA or your engineering. So a supply chain concept could have perhaps easily been explained using a story like this. Okay, so the concept of serialization says that we attain supply chain visibility by tracking products across their entire value chain by passing a unique serial number. So something like that will be a drone, okay, it will be a monotone. On the other hand, if a professor started with a story like this, I'm sure the story about the supply chain concept would be etched in the memory of the student. Okay, so that is one. Okay, so you're using a story to simplify how a supply chain concept, which can otherwise be very dry, to explain it in a way that is very simple. Okay, so that is one. Any other takeaways from the story?
We started empathizing with the guy who got hit in the beer with the beer bottle.
Empathizing?
With the guy. So what has happened is like we start to think whether these guys will be caught or not.
There's an element of what will happen next, what will happen next. Okay? So that is very important in a story. In a story, that element of surprise is extremely important. Okay, so I think we saw that problem of catching attention of the audience. Yeah.
Sir, also I feel a lot of times we restrict what communication is to just talking.
Yeah.
But I feel there are so many different methods of saying what you want to say without actually saying it.
Exactly.
So I once read a book which told me that communication is never complete till the other person can understand what I'm trying to tell him or her.
Yeah.
So So if I'm just talking just by myself, it's not called communication.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you something that you're able to understand what I'm telling you, that is when the communication is closed.
Right.
That's when I'm successful in communicating what I want to communicate to you. So I feel here, one thing that struck a chord with me was how the passerby, he saw these two drunkards, and we know for a fact when people are so drunk, whatever we say will not get through to their heads, just by saying it. So I felt he could have probably done something else that could actually have gotten through to them without giving me harm.
Yeah.
So that was my takeaway from it.
Right, yeah. We need to act as per the audience, and which perhaps he was not so sensitive about, and he paid the price. Okay, so some of the things, common themes that are coming out is that one is storytelling always helps in communicating a complex concept. Okay, otherwise, it could have been a complex supply chain issue. Okay, so that is one. Then second is that using of analogy. Okay, so rather than directly talking about serialization, here a nice analogy was used. So using of analogy is analogy or metaphor or whatever you call it is sometimes extremely helpful in getting across. And last but not the least, using attention getting techniques and especially surprise. Okay, element of surprise is always helpful in order to get the attention of the audience. Okay, so those are some of the key takeaways. So I'll briefly illustrate some of these three concepts that we spoke about. So in order to get the attention, I think we use the element of surprise. In order to simplify a complex concept, we'll use metaphors or analogies. And then in order to influence the audience, we'll use storytelling, and we'll see why. So element of surprise. So what do you need element of surprise? One is obviously we have a lot of distractions today. So the other thing is we need to understand how our mind works. Our mind is like a pattern guessing engine. It is always trying to figure out what will happen next. And once it is figured out, it tunes off. So unless you break the pattern, it's very difficult to get the attention. If the audience knows what you're going to tell next, chances are they will tune out. Okay, so you need to break that pattern. For example, there's an AC here running. None of us notice the drone of the AC. Okay, that pattern has set in. Okay, so and this is very well used by the advertisers. Okay, when you see the advertisement slot, there's 30 seconds and they need to get our audience attention. So how do they do that? For example, some of the memorable ads like the Cadbury's ad where the girl jumps and runs into the stadium. Okay, so nobody expected her to do that. So there's an element of surprise there. Okay, so that's something that good communicators do. But surprise alone is not enough. Okay, so surprise alone, if you do, then it can even be a gimmick. So the surprise has to align with your core message. Okay, you have to have an element of surprise, but it should align with your core message. Okay, so that is number one. The next is analogies. So analogies, why are analogies so effective? Again, we need to understand how our mind works. So for our mind to catch something new is very difficult. So there is a thing called neural coupling. So neural coupling technique associates what we know to something that we do not know. Okay, in this case, we can easily relate to the story, and if we use that to connect to the supply chain concept, then the neural coupling happens, and then we understand the concept in a much easier way. Okay, so that is analogies. And last but not the least is storytelling. Storytelling is obviously a good way to emotionally connect with the audience and influence the audience. When you want to influence the audience, just appealing to logic alone is not good enough. You need to appeal both to logic as well as to the emotion. Okay, and storytelling appeals to the emotion part, the pathos part, as Aristotle so nicely put it. Okay, so storytelling is extremely effective in terms of trying to connect with the audience. And there are very effective ways to spot good stories. Okay, so for example, a lot of research has been done, and there are three very, very common plots. Most of the good stories form part of these three plots. One is the challenge plot, one is the connection plot, and one is the creativity plot. So what the challenge plot means is that the protagonist or the hero in the story has solved something extremely challenging. Okay, for example, the recent 12th fail. How many of you have seen 12th fail? So that's a classic challenge plot, because the poor guy from a village, he addressed the UPSC exam and he cracked it, so he took up the challenge. Okay. And the connection plot is basically any Bollywood love story. Okay, so the connection is established between two people, but after bridging a gap. Okay, for example, the story in the Titanic where Jack, who's a very poor guy, he comes across a lot of challenges and then he is able to establish a connection with Rose. And finally, the creativity plot. Creativity plot is to do something creative. This is a very good example. In a creative way, the police solve the challenge. Okay, so that is a creative way to address a challenge. Okay, so let's quickly recap. So we saw 3 challenges in terms of communication, getting the attention, addressing complex concepts and influencing. And the way to address that is using an element of surprise to get the attention, using analogies to simplify complex concepts, and using storytelling to appeal to the emotion so that we are able to influence the audience. Yeah, so I think we are done with the sessions. If you have some questions, I'm happy to take them.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Predominantly, human brain is mind is logical.
Yeah.
So we'll have to bring it to the emotional aspect of it, especially the technology products and all. How will you connect emotionality into the logical sequence which has more? It's going to be a very challenging aspect. So how we have to add logic and emotion together so that the customer has got continuous attention. What is the thing that I need to do?
You need to tell stories.
So what sort of story? Logically, people will not be listening to me too much. Beyond a particular point, their attention.
See, if you need to make people take a decision, you need to influence their heart. If you need to prove yourself right in an argument, you can use logic. Okay, but our objective is not just prove ourselves right. Our objective is also sell that insurance or to make them use environment-friendly techniques or whatever we want to do. Okay, so unless you use your emotional thing, and stories are a good way to do that because stories bring that emotional aspect. You need to, of course, curate the right stories. Okay, so if you are able to curate the right stories, you can. The trick is in curating the right stories which appeal to the emotion as well.
Please, I understood in this very way you explained. From the bottom of the heart, if I start speaking to the audience, it reaches the audience heart, not the mind or the brain, whatever it is. See, that technique I may have to practice and
see, there are many ways. You can narrate personal stories. Okay, personal stories can be quite emotional in nature. So you can connect better to the audience. It happened with you or it happened with a close friend of yours. He was in a particular situation, he did this. Okay, when you are telling something in a logical way, it sounds very preachy. Yes. And the moment we are preachy, there will be a little bit of a resistance.
Absolutely.
As opposed to that, somebody told very nicely, you better communicate indirectly, okay, so that you are not trying to preach to that person, but you are saying what happened to somebody else in a story form. Okay, then you are not preaching to somebody, then they are not trying to resist you. Yeah.
Suppose in this digital era, everybody tells the attention span is very little.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to sit and spend time and listen to something or read everything completely.
Yeah.
So at that time, how do you influence somebody without fabricating a big story or trying to connect with them? Instead, how to connect with them instantly without trying to.
See, the most important thing is to be relevant for somebody. If you are relevant for somebody, then automatically they will give you time. If I need half an hour of my customer, half an hour of the customer's time is very valuable. Unless I am relevant to the customer, they will think after 5 minutes they will switch off if I am not relevant to the customer. Okay, so you can be relevant to the customer by doing various things. For example, in my case, I have to research a lot about the customer. I need to know what are some of the unsolved problems of the customer. I need to tell how I have solved similar problems for another customer, what the same customer is facing. Okay, the moment you get relevant for somebody, you will see that they will give you time. We need to earn every moment in the business world. Okay, time is the most, expensive commodity with anybody. Okay, if you want a minute of the customer's time, you better earn it.
Because we have to bring the client to the common interest, and from there we have to start.
See, you have to solve an unsolved need of the customer. See, if the customer does not need something, whatever story you tell, okay, that is only going to be like, what should I say? You're wasting wasting their time. So a lot of homework needs to be done. Yeah.
So with reference to your education system that you just delivered, let me ask this question. So because this was a 15-20 minutes education session, you could get a lot of concepts which you explained. But how do I make it much more effective during the elevator pitch? Is it only because, only from the practice, or do you want to do any more things? Because elevator pitch is just hardly 2 minutes. You're meeting an executive, right? So how do you...
See, elevator pitch, I'll tell you how to do it. See, elevator pitch is, multiple ways are there. If you're selling a product, what is your differentiation statement? Okay, and then you need to put it in a very pithy way. Okay, so all of us know proverbs. Okay, stitch in time saves 9, a bird in hand is worth 2 in the bush. So these are hundreds and hundreds of years old. Okay, still they are very this thing for us. Because it is very concise and it packs a lot of wisdom in just one small sentence. So you need to craft what is your one sentence.
It comes with practice, right?
It comes with practice, thoughtful, and doing that multiple times. And it has to pack a lot of stuff into one small sentence, which can break the clutter. So many other people are trying to say the same message. How are you able to tell that differently? If both Surf and P&G are trying to sell me washing powder, why is P&G's washing powder better than Surf's Universe washing powder? He needs to be able to tell it in 5 seconds.
They always say that we need to be better or best among the rest.
No, you don't have to be the best. You have to be the most relevant.
The best is not
Best is not the criteria. Best is not always. Best means there will be room only for one person in this whole world.
Which means you need to be more relevant to
You need to be relevant. You need to be relevant in a differentiated way. See, Ralph Smedley is taking 3 hours of our time every week. You have to ask yourself, what magic did you do that I am able to give 3 hours of my life every week? Same thing you have to, we are giving our time, we are asking for somebody else's time also. We have to put ourselves in their other shoes and ask how can I demand somebody else's time so that they can listen to me for half an hour at least. Yeah.
As a speaker and a storyteller, is it not important to understand what your audience wants to hear?
Absolutely. Yeah. Before starting your story, there's a lot of homework that needs to go in. Otherwise, any amount of good storytelling is not going to help. So we need to earn our seat at the table even to tell the story. So a lot happens both before and after. Storytelling is the communication part. How do you convey? Assuming that you have done all that, how do you convey it in the best possible way? Necessary but not sufficient condition.
Quick question. Do you have like a call to action when you're in a business situation for them to buy?
Absolutely.
Yes, do you add that in the story?
Yeah.
Or you have to have that call to action?
Yeah. So call to action is very important in any communication where we are doing other than informing. Call to action is important. I'll tell with my personal situation. In my situation, I'm pitching products all the time. So my call to action is not necessarily always making a sale. Okay, my call to action is first time if I'm pitching to the customer, there's a cycle, sales cycle. First time if I'm pitching to a customer, my objective is to get the next demo meeting. I do a presentation, how can I give a product demo to the next level people? That is my objective. For that, what do I need to do? I need to ensure that I'm not talking general stuff. I've done enough research. I've gathered enough data about the customer so that I can show a use case which they will be interested, it's worth their time, investing their time in a demo. Okay, so you need to know what is the next action that you want to influence and accordingly stitch it in the
story. So the conclusion of the story is asking them.
it cannot, perhaps it's not part of the story. There's a conclusion. In a communication, you get an opportunity to wrap up your communication also. Tell that this is how we have helped other customers. We are not doing some general purpose, whatever. We have knowledge of your system. Take them to the next step. Do research on what your aspiring next step needs to be and walk them to that next step.
Where do you build a repository of stories?
That is a constant curation. Every day I'm curating stories. Every day I'm curating stories. You just need to look around. There are stories everywhere, but you need to be able to. Many of you are good photographers here, my good friend. So there are good pictures everywhere, but a good photographer can instantly know what is a good frame, and you just pull out the camera and just snap the good frame. Okay, so you need to be, as good communicators, one of the very important things all of us need to be doing is curating stories, and have a diary. Keep noting, taking notes, or save the links, or whatever works for you. But curating stories is extremely important for communicators, so that your back pocket is filled with a lot of stories, and for that particular occasion you can pull out the right story from your back pocket. Curating stories, all your waking moments you should be curating stories. Okay, I think we are perhaps not doing so well on time. We're done?
We have 9:56.
Okay, one last question if you have.
How do you organize these stories? You have a diary view or you have a note system? Do you do it like categorically like
So I deal with particular topics in my business. So I have some buckets. So I bucketize in those. For example, I am in the business of consumer goods. I am in the business of innovation, and I am in the business of artificial intelligence. So roughly for me, these are the three buckets.
And these are three different diaries?
No, I do it. I keep it simple. I'm not so good electronically and all that. I have one running diary and I have hashtags. What I also do is that I post my stories on LinkedIn. Okay, so that way they are immediately, the best stories are on LinkedIn, any of you can follow. So every week 1 or 2 stories I post. So it is easily available, and then it's not secret, something sitting in my secret diary. So I can narrate the story and point my customer to that story that I have on LinkedIn. It's publicly available for everybody. Okay, you're good? Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Amitabha Saharoy. We got in a lot. I think this is a very relatable crowd where we have to talk to customers in the future, or we are currently talking to customers. So we got in a lot of insights about how to start storytelling. Coming to the second session, which is called the table topic session. Today's table topic master is a graduate from Transcend Group of Institutions. She is a mandala artist, and she believes mandala art makes her creative. And she loves dancing, and she also loves seeing sunsets. So please help me welcome today's table topic master, Toastmaster Pavani, with a huge round of applause.
Toastmasters and esteemed guests. Today marks a special occasion as we bring a slight twist to our usual table topic session. Today's session will feature a series of topics where 2 members will be randomly called onto the stage, and each will be speaking for and against a topic. The roles will be decided by the draw of chits. And as usual, the time allotted will be 2 minutes. At 1 minute, green card. At 1 minute 30 seconds, yellow card. And at 2 minutes, the red card. And I request the members to kindly stick to the time allotted. So here's how it will work. I will announce a topic. I'll call 2 members onto the stage, and they will decide their stance with picking up the chits. And one is for and one is against. And one who has got for will start speaking, and once he has completed, the one who has got the against chit will commence their speech. So, okay, I'll repeat it again. So I'll call 2 people onto the stage. I'll give a topic, call 2 people onto the stage. They have to come, pick the chits and decide their stance, is it for or against. First, the person who has got for chit will commence their speech. And once they conclude, the one who has got against will commence their speech. I hope I am clear. Is that yes?
Each person will give 1 minute or what? How
Each person will be getting 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yes, usual time.
Is it like a debate or?
No, you have
It's a
to
kind of a debate, but not a debate.
So I can't interrupt the other person. Like extra that will
No. Once you have to finish your speech and let the other person finish their speech. It's like that. Not a debate. Any other questions or am I clear?
Yeah. So if I speak first, so I should finish my 2 minutes first.
Yes.
So I can't be like 1 minute, okay, you will talk, let me get my 1 minute later.
No.
That becomes debate.
Yeah, that becomes debate. Okay. Am I clear or like do you have any other doubts?
Clear.
Okay. Then we can, great. We'll just begin the session. The first topic is space exploration a waste of resources? Is space exploration a waste of resources? And I would want to call DTM U Bhat and Toastmaster Vijay for this. Yes, space exploration is a waste of resources.
This bar means is waste of resources. Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and my opponent Vijay and welcome guests. Every day newspaper you open, there will be some article on the India landing on moon, then tomorrow manned mission to moon, spending not millions but billions or maybe trillions of dollars or rupees. So I'm always wondering, what the hell is happening here? we have got an umpteen number of problems going on in the country, and you suddenly try to send somebody to the moon. And I don't know, so inhospitable a place. Somebody is found for the good fortune, some water there. That is our good luck, our Indian scientists found out. But even with that small amount of water, what we are going to do, we don't know. Whether we are going to do anything at all about that, and what is all the fight for between US and USSR and China and other parts of the fifth country. So what? It doesn't mean anything. Why should you spend millions of dollars, millions of rupees and spending on space exploration and trying to do something? I know my opponent will definitely say, no, it is not like this, science and technology. We have to prove our Indian. What to prove? Let us prove. See, let us first look after ourselves. Let us see how we can bring up our people in the society. Then how we can take out from poverty, make them self-sufficient. Let us not talk about moon at all. Let us be happy in the world is terra firma itself, and no moon touching. Back to you, Madam.
Thank you, Table Topic Master and co-participant. And good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I have been given the chick of against. Whatever he spoke, I need to speak against only. I have no choice at all. Space exploration is very much required. We are in the world of competitive stage. We are not in isolation at all in the first place. We need to coexist within this world. For that, we need to compete and achieve something. Just because US did something, it doesn't mean that we should not do it. We should do that. Within the available resources, we should achieve. That's what present regime, top person, what is the cost that was involved in moon exploration? It was very meager amount comparing to what the US or USSR spent. That way, I believe that we need to explore the way in which we need to compete. When in 2014, what was the position India had? What is the position today economically we have in competition with the whole world? We have become 5th largest, no? Yes or no? All of us know that. This has happened not only from the development of industrial segment, but also the exploration aspect of unknown aspects. So in that way, just because there is some poverty doesn't mean that we should do away with the exploration part of as far as space activity is concerned. Even if you consider, yesterday, what is the rate of poor people that have come up? Only 2%. No? Only 2%, that's what the statistics is as of today. That means we have grown a lot. In competition with the whole world, we are marching ahead. That's what we need, because we have youngest population in the world. They have a future. It is not just we only think ourselves and kick the bucket one day. We need to think about the future generation also. That way, I think it is very much required. Exploration is very much a part of life. Thank you, and back to you.
So the next topic is paper books better than ebooks? Is paper books better than ebooks? And for this, I would like to call Toastmaster Chetan and Toastmaster Anirudh.
So how many of you are into reading here regularly, right? I'm assuming at least a book a month, at least, right? And the feeling that you get when you read a book is more than just what's inside the book. When you buy a new book, you smell the book, and that distinct smell is something that you don't get with ebooks. I mean, yes, you save a lot of money, you're doing great for the environment, you're Elon Musk, all that awesome. But if you're a reader and would like to enjoy your reading, I think paper books are way more better than ebooks. If I was, at the beginning, if I was into ebooks and not actual books, then I don't think I would have read for as long a time as I have right now. So I strongly believe that paper books are way stronger in terms of how far they can take a person, and how, I mean, just in terms of retention rate, I think it's great for readers, when you go with a physical book instead of an ebook. So that is my argument. Thank you.
Have any of you actually read a book on the Kindle? Yeah, okay, so I see a few good hands. I'm happy about that. Because reading on the Kindle is actually a joyful experience. Let me tell you, you can straight up look at the dictionary and find out the meaning of any word. While I agree that reading a hardcover, or rather reading a hardcover is very joyful. The smell, the feel, I don't know, some of you might taste it as well, but the stories are great, the stuff is great, but there is one big drawback with these. First of all, they're voluminous. Has anyone ever carried a book that's like 900 pages? You'll see that it adds 2 kgs to your bag. And imagine walking around with that as a kid. It's pretty nasty, okay? Let's be honest. So reading a big book, Kindles are great. Not only that, you can search your notes. If you make a note on the Kindle, you can go back, you can look through it. Years later, you can look back at how you thought. Or even better, you can catalog and search through stories across hundreds of books. And just putting a keyword or a note or something will let you search through it. Books have been an age-old technology. In fact, the first mass production, in a way, and it happened about 400 years ago. They are due for an upgrade, and Kindles are the way to go. Now, I'm not saying you should chuck all your hardcovers, but I am saying chuck your paperbacks, because they are the worst means of technology that exists today. Right? So, thank you.
Thank you, both of you. So the next topic is social media is bad for kids. Social media is bad for kids. And for this, I would like to call Toastmaster Apoorva and Toastmaster Gajendra.
Of course, social media is bad for kids. I mean, look at us all. Right? And I have a family friend who has a kid basically, and she's about 7-8 years old. And she doesn't eat food until she doesn't have an iPad in front of her. That's how spoiled she is. Good luck. That's how spoiled she is. And social media is actually very, very, very bad. It just spreads negativity. Not personally talking, but it just spreads negativity because I've seen many people, I might offend people, but there are few people who are not like mentally strong. And they commit crimes, like they harm themselves. And that's become very, very much popular nowadays. And it's coming to our Indians also. It's from there it's coming here basically. And I usually, I don't use social media much after working basically. Like looking at the laptop for 6 hours a day and then coming back home looking at my phone, it's like a very big of a headache. So I completely stopped using social media. And I've actually deleted Instagram. It's actually a pretty big step for myself. So yeah, that's my take on this.
Social media is, I agree, social media has its own cons, pros and cons, but the pros are also, for kids especially, there's a lot of language development. Like certain parents are not, grandparents and parents are not educated. Imagine your servant's kid. You think the servant is educated to teach the kid English or other language like Hindi? There's a lot of exposure to language, especially for the kids. Like the kid, especially the rural part of India, there's a lot of exposure to language, then how to make a conversation, the interaction, and also they have a lot of exposure to what is happening in the world. Like in rural India, especially there, especially in the villages, because of net, there's a lot of exposure to what is happening around the world. What are the latest courses? What is the latest kind of technology which has been introduced to the world? How things are working in the world? What are the current affairs, the current trend? All those things, people are aware of it. And especially the kids are teaching the parents. The kids, the younger generation, are educating the elders. Like like my servant, she doesn't know how to read, or you rather even message or make a call. The kid uses her phone. She has a smartphone, and the kid uses, there is constant WhatsApp updates. She's making reels. She knows the latest movies, latest technology, all the latest current news affairs, everything. And she's updating the my servant, our parent. So there are advantages if used wisely, or else there are constantly negatives as well. So everything has pros and cons. If used wisely, they can make a right use of it. And also other thing is that there's a lot of language development, especially in small babies when they watch shows like Peppa Pig or other things. There's a lot of there's vocabulary increase because we constantly at home, there's that limited vocabulary that we are using. And there's advantage of vocabulary as well. The kids know different words and they know languages. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you both of you for your responses. The next topic is, there is life beyond Earth. There is life beyond Earth. And for this topic, I would like to call Toastmaster Varaprasad and TTM Sushma.
My initial reaction to this topic was, who cares? But the option I got was pork. So there is life beyond Earth? I don't know. Studies are going on, research is going on, people are telling about something or the other. So even though I have got far, I would still like to think, why not focus on our own lives first and see what can be done better each day. And I really don't care whether there is life beyond Earth or not, because I am not a space fan at all. So forget about outer space. I'm not even interested in that. So sometimes you need to speak against what you have actually got. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. So sorry, end of the topic.
I also so see, Sushma took the other stand, let me change the stand. If I remember 10 years back, watching some movies, especially which talks about space, aliens, and all. And even every day my elder daughter refreshes it because she has immense interest in that and keep telling, nodding me. Over the time I realized, being in technology domain and talking a lot of innovation, how the mind develops around visualization. See, most of the innovations or technologies is not just because of some mathematical derivatives or somebody sitting every day and derive and come, but somebody imagined something. Somebody visualized it so strongly and he believed it so strongly because there's nothing for him to prove. And once he believed it so strongly and visualized, then he started searching for it. That push and urge of him pushed it. So whether it exists or not, I don't feel that question is right or wrong, but the existence belief itself is driving a human to keep searching. Around that, if you look at amount of technology, imagination, and which is enabling every day, making that everyday life better, and the earth itself is a big advantage which I'm seeing. Even a small kid gets such a wisdom in visualizing, open up mind to think and think beyond any limits. With the life beyond anywhere connects to the universe yourself. And there's no boundary how it looks. Each one of us can visualize your own way. And most of the technologies which that movies earlier days talked about, including the bond or including the space, today they are reality. If you look at all our technology, especially communication, most of the technologies they become realized. We may not reach the day exactly it is visualized, but the way it evolved and makes everyday life better for every human, it motivates me, let's imagine something big. There might be life beyond it. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses. The next topic is, the future of education is tough in the digital era. The future of education is tough in the digital era. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Gaurav and Toastmaster Shreya. It's tough in the digital era. Good evening, everybody. I am going for education being tough in the digital era. And although there are many benefits of having access to technology, education becomes difficult with respect to physical, in-person education. No one wants to come to class now in my college because anyways we can learn online. So then what is the purpose of having a teacher, right? And everyone keeps bunking class because we can learn it online. So then there's no one in class. Then we find, what is the point of going to a college? What is the point of getting a degree from there? But the importance of having this type of education is because it's reputed, right? We go to some institution to get a degree because it gives us some kind of reputation. If I go somewhere like Harvard or something, when I'm applying for jobs and they'll be like, oh wow, she went to Harvard. And another aspect of it being hard to get education in the digital era is that there are so many distractions online, right? Like I go on my laptop to study, but then I end up going on YouTube instead. Then I end up downloading some side blocker to disable YouTube. But then I go back and enable it because I want to watch YouTube anyways. So even though there are many, like again, everyone said there are pros and cons, even I am telling there are pros and cons. But the importance of in-person education is that bond that you develop with whoever is teaching you, right? There is always, inevitably, there will always be a better learning if someone is teaching you, because they will physically make you understand and you can immediately ask them doubts and everything. So that is why I think that education is very difficult in the digital age.
Very good evening to all the Toastmasters and to all the guests. Yeah, I mean, the world is changing, the people are changing, the technology is changing. And yeah, everybody are doing their own courses. I believe majority of the students are studying nowadays are doing some or other course online. As my other speaker was behind lectern told that, of course we need that physical touch, we need that physical interaction with the teacher, and that's how we learn. But as she told that there are many distractions in the digital world, that we try to learn something, we end up surfing in some other browser. Let me ask you this, as you were in school, were you not distracted by talking to your friends? Yes. Are you not distracted by sleeping in the class, or yes. Were you always concentrating in your class? Of course, you know. So wherever you go, there is a distraction. Whichever method of learning you do, there is distraction. It's all upon the individual. I won't say technology is the only way you can learn. Of course, we need that physical teacher, that physical classroom, because more than education, we learn how to be social beings in school. We learn how to interact with people. We know how to stay with people. We learn how to compromise and stay with others and ensure that how to be a social being. So that is what we learned in school more than ABCD is what I believe. So yeah, nowadays kids learn a lot from digital world, but to be a social and interactful human being, it is important to be in school. But I won't say technology is bad for the kids, or maybe in the educational background. Physical and technology should go hand in hand is what I believe. Thank you, and back.
Thank you for your responses. The next topic is electric vehicles are the future. Electric vehicles are the future. And for this, I would like to call Toastmaster Sandeep and Toastmaster Shiva.
Good evening, everyone, Toastmasters, guests. I'm speaking of electric vehicles is the future of next generation. Have you heard of thing that some of the mishappenings in the sea route, which is hampering the incoming of the ships from one part of the world to the other part of the world. It is happening very, very far away from here, but at some point of time it affects us all. Whether the price of the commodities or the goods what is brought in through that route is being increased, so that affects us all. So what is the connection of this to this vehicle, electricity vehicle? The conventional fuel-driven vehicles once will be very expensive because we do not have that fuel to run the vehicles. But electricity can be generated with resources available in India, and we are also, as we are exploring space, we are working on artificial intelligence, and all of us, I being from the steel industry, we are all working on renewable energies. Steel being a commodity which consumes a lot of fossil fuel and gives CO2 to the environment. We are all working for renewable energy resources through wind, through water, through many other resources. So all that can be generated in India, and we can go for electric vehicles, which will be less polluted, and it will be better for our generation, future generation. This is my take on the electric vehicle.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep, for your point of view. Coming to electric vehicles, he started off by speaking about ships directly, something which runs in the sea or in the rivers. I say, who cares? Just like Sushma says, we live on land, right? And we have to ride on roads, and we have to deal with electric vehicles, right? I'll tell you, a person on a scooter or a car which is a conventional vehicle, fueled by fossil fuels, again, who cares about the planet? That vehicle is approaching you, and in India, you know, there are no signals on these crossroads. That vehicle is approaching, you will know, okay, there is a vehicle coming. An electric vehicle approaches, and especially these days, your Ampere and all these scooters, they go very fast, right? They are extremely fast. You won't even know that person has come. And in the worst case, that person comes very fast on the crossroad, you hit him, meet with an accident, and fall in a pool of blood, like Sir said. Instead of that, why not enjoy conventional vehicles? The sound, the feel of driving a car that runs on diesel makes a lot of sound, but that feel that like you're sitting on a truck. No, why not enjoy that, right? So let the next generation take care of itself. Let us now enjoy whatever we can. With that, over to the table topics first.
Topic, OTT platforms are causing threat to cinemas. OTT platforms are causing threat to the cinemas. And for this, I would like to call Toastmaster Sai Snehal and Toastmaster Sindhushree.
Table Topics Master of fellow Toastmasters. OTTs are actually causing a lot of problems to the traditional cinemas. When was the last time you actually went to a theatre knowing that it will come to your OTT? When was the last time? The chances are very minimal. You see a movie and you see the opening screen and it says available on Netflix or part on Netflix, you will wish, oh damn, I wish I stayed back home and watch it when it comes out. This is a direct threat. In 2020 COVID, when COVID happened, a lot of TV shows, movies which were never seen in the theatre actually were launched on OTT. And they had a survey that if the same movie was launched on an OTT platform, what are the chances of it getting a huge revenue on the box office? The chances were in negative. But the same thing on the OTT, it's come to 250%. What does it say? OTTs are more accessible and more affordable to every one of us. You pick out your phone, you can access anything right then and there. What does it say? Totally same. OTTs have that edge, that influence, sitting at any part of the world, anywhere, we can watch it. Say I'm sitting in Japan, I want to watch Pushpa 2 when it releases. Maybe I don't have access to it. But say it releases on Amazon Prime a week or a month later, I can immediately, instantly watch it without any problem. Another thing, I can pause it as and when I like, go pick up my popcorn, come back, continue. But I don't think you have that liberty and flexibility when you're sitting in a theater. And one of the most famous thing that I would say, or the most amazing of OTT is, when you sit at home, you have the liberty to stop right then and there if it's boring and watch another show. This is something you cannot do. You'll have to walk out of the movie theater and waste your 250 rupees. OTTs are better.
Pavani, and good evening, wonderful audience. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sai Snehal, for speaking for, because definitely it was not for. I'm not sure what OTTs are threat for traditional cinemas or not. They're definitely a threat to your sleep, because everyone binge watches all the TV series and shows definitely in the night. I wouldn't say it is a threat, because OTTs are a complete different diversified categories. Suppose per se, let's bring out some of the famous TV series: How I Met Your Mother, Friends, Game of Thrones, Suits, or Big Bang Theories, or we can go ahead with Schitt's Creek, or we can go with the recent, all this Indian version of TV series. There are a lot of them: Hotstar, Netflix, Prime, Sun Next, so many, and I have subscription to all of them. Speaking about, irrespective of having so many shows, they have not been a threat, because I can still say Gaurav will go and watch that Mehjabin film in the cinemas. I still know that Udanka will go for the first day for show of his favorite characters, and I know even to this day U Bhat will definitely go to cinema. He doesn't know about OTTs. He wouldn't download Netflix and do that. OTTs are definitely not a threat to the traditional cinema. They've just become more accessible, as my co-speaker Toastmaster Sai Snehal said, and it is a complete different diversified category, and all of us have been using it on your beds, in the TVs. Now you have smart TVs, now your parents know. So a lot of things have been going on. But apart from being, I don't think it's a threat. It's just that as the era goes, as the people grow, as there are more things accessible to you, you just pick and choose whatever you want to do, and India is definitely a market for every single thing. There's an audience. As long as you reach them, I think you'll succeed. That's all, and back to you.
Thank you everyone for all the enthusiastic responses, and let's manifest more and more creative table topic sessions like this, and with this, back to you, MC.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pavani. A few days ago, we manifested that we have to have a few creative table topic session, and here she is. So we'll be having 5 minutes break, and welcome back, everyone. So today's general evaluator is a construction technologist, and he's working at Autodesk. He joined Toastmasters because he wanted to learn storytelling. I know it is apt for today's topic, and he loves going to the gym and reading books. So please help me welcome today's general evaluator, Toastmaster Raja, with a huge round of applause.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So we started at 6:21 p.m. today, and we started with the business session, in which Toastmaster Shiva mentioned that all roles are open except for the speeches. And then next is the VPM update, in which the VPM talked about the renewals, and whoever has not renewed it, I would urge them to renew for the next term. Next we have Sergeant at Arms, and Sergeant at Arms by Toastmaster Latha did a great job. She was fluent, and whenever Latha comes on stage, she doesn't need a script. She can come on stage and then deliver the speech just like that. So that is something that I really like about Latha. And you talked about Corona, and you connected the healthy lifestyle and how people, you connected it with the theme and how people manifested the healthy lifestyle. So the way that you come here and present every time your speech is commendable. The area that you can work upon would be definitely, if you can start structuring your speeches, you can go to the next level, because you are very comfortable in delivering it. What about if you start structuring it, right? The next one is the President's speech, and President did the good guest introductions, and I also liked one of the guest introduction, which he said he's figuring out what life is after 8 years of work. I can relate to that so much. In India, they say you can achieve you can go for your passion after you have done your engineering or doctor. First you do engineering or doctor, then you go for what you wanted to do. Minutes of meeting, and let me complete the President's speech. Great story, and you have really gotten comfortable behind the lectern, and it's really a great opportunity for you, as a president this term, and every week you are coming behind the lectern and you are giving great stories, and your voice modulation was also very good. People connected that with your story. And you also talked about 939 777 methods. I need to go and find out like what they are, because I never knew like there were such methods that existed. Then meeting minutes, Mehjabin, very clean, no comments, it was perfect. The only thing is, how can you take it to the next level? Next time when you're doing the meeting minutes, at certain areas, try to have eye contact with the audience. And then you go back to that, because otherwise it will become monotonous and like a robo reading, like a minutes of meeting, right? How can you avoid that monotony, right? So you say something, you look at the audience, and then again that would be a good practice for you as well. So that is something that you can work upon. I'll come to the MC later. So the next one is education session by DTM Amitabha. First, I would like to give a round of applause for him. He has 25 years of experience in the industry, and he's coming here and talking about storytelling, and he is in a very, very logical field. Yeah, he is in artificial intelligence, and he is coming here and talking about storytelling. So that means you can understand the importance of storytelling, especially for the people who are young graduates or who are in the college. I want you to understand the impact. Now, let me ask you a question. Can any of you say what are the 3 points DTM Amitabha wrote on the board?
Yes.
Can anybody just get up and say? Okay, yeah, maybe Mehjabin. Let's go with Mehjabin.
Attention, influency, or influence, simplicity and complexity.
And?
Complexity or complication.
Hold on, let me check if those things are correct. You said what?
Simplification.
No, hold on, don't help her. I asked one person, so let her explain what are those 3 points. Okay, so next person, I think it was Sindhushree, Toastmasters Sindhushree. Can you get up and explain what are those 3 points which are written over here?
So the very first point was attention. So Amitabha was talking about how to...
No, just the points. I don't need to go over the entire.
Attention was 2 elements of surprise, and then influence by storytelling, and then simplification, you can use metaphor and analogy.
I was not expecting that. Give a round of applause. Anyone else?
And he spoke a lot about storytelling.
So,
I think it is okay.
Yeah. Out of all the members, right, only few were able to remember what DTM Amitabha said. And if we ask like after, let's say a month, we will forget it, because how many of you remember the chapters that you learned in your life like 1 year back? We forget it, right? So now, let me ask you, can you tell me the story DTM Amitabha said?
There were 2 drunk guys who were fighting. You want to continue?
No. Keep going. I just want you to continue for 2 more lines. I'm going to make a point.
And there was a guy, the pastor literary guy was passing by, and he stopped and he tried to say, go take this nuisance somewhere else. And that drunk guy hit him with the beer bottle.
Thank you. So, you can see that each one of us in the room, at least if we have listened to a speech, we will remember this particular story. And even after a month, if somebody comes and asks you what DTM Amitabha spoke, you will not remember these 3 points, but you can tell the story. That is the power of stories. Now, storytelling is very deep. Yeah, it is too deep. What if I tell you there is a formula to create a suspense in your story? There is a formula. The formula is this: character empathy plus likelihood of threat plus uncertainty of outcome equals suspense. For example, in his story, as soon as he took the bottle, okay, there is a likelihood of threat, uncertainty of outcome, and you empathize with that other guy. Yeah, so that is like a suspense, and you can hold the audience to the suspense. The reason I'm telling you this because storytelling is so deep, and it's vast as well. There are different types of stories. So I want you to take this as a starting point, and I want you to develop, if you want to really develop in terms of the storytelling skills. Overall, it was a great session. So again, a round of applause to Toastmasters. Okay, now let me come to Toastmaster Pavani. So Pavani, you are very innovative and very charismatic as well behind the lectern. And this time, the choice of topics was also very good. The way you designed the topics, it is for and against. It was very innovative, and you chose like 2 people from the audience for the right topics. So it was fantastic. I don't have any other comments on the way that you conducted the table topics. It was really good. The area that you can improve upon is this. I want you to have more dominance behind the lectern. I'm not saying arrogant, but I want you to have more dominance. The reason I'm saying that because I'm visualizing manifestation is today's theme, right? So I'm visualizing you are going and speaking in front of a large audience. Yeah. Some of your questions like am I clear, like validating questions kind of puts your performance down. So how can you be more dominant behind the lectern is something you need to work upon. Yeah. Again, it's a dominant. I'm not saying arrogant. So you need to think about how you can be. You can work on that part. Yeah. Now let me call upon the role takers before I come to MC. Let me call Toastmaster Rachana to give up the report.
Good evening, everyone. Wow, I have done more math today than in the last couple of years. So, alright, let's get started with the timers. The welcome by the Sergeant at Arms took 3 minutes 40 seconds. The allotted time was 2 minutes. The presidential address took 4 minutes 36 seconds. The allotted time was 5. The introduction of the Toastmaster of the evening took 12 seconds. The allotted time was 1 minute. The report on previous meeting took 2 minutes 18 seconds. The allotted time was 2. Okay, coming to the educational session, the speaker took 20 minutes 58 seconds. The allotted time was 20. The Q&A session lasted for 11 minutes. The allotted time was 12. And the table topic master. This is where all of my math comes into use. The total time taken by the table topics session was 24 minutes 53 seconds. The time allotted was 20 minutes. There were a total of 14 speakers and 14 topics. The general evaluator took, I will get back to that, but thank you.
Thank you for the timer report, Toastmaster Rachana. It was a good report, and I want you to keep coming and keep taking up roles in Toastmasters, different roles. You'll get really comfortable with that. You're going to take more of that roles as well. Now let me call Toastmaster Shubha to report the R counter.
Fellow Toastmasters and guest presenters. This is the R counter report for today. So the Sergeant at Arms, Latha, 2 hours. President, 2 hours. Toastmaster of the day, 5 hours. Timer, 2 hours. Myself, 3 hours plus 2 counting. The grammarian, Sakit, flawless. The PP evaluator, flawless. and speaker for the day 2 hours. The table topic speaker Pavani 2 hours. TM U Bhat 2 hours. Vijay, Upendra, Anirudh and Chetan flawless. Gajendra 2 hours. Apoorva 5 hours. Sushma 1 hour. Varaprasad flawless. Shreya 4 hours. Gaurav 5 hours. Sandeep 2 hours. Shiva 2 hours. Sai Snehal flawless. And Sindhushree 1 hour. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shubha, for the report. And since you're new to Toastmasters, I want you to come regularly and take up more roles and you get comfortable with the roles. Do you know in our counter there is a word apart from as well, ER. Just one, nobody has used it. Just wondering, if someone would use it. It is there,
Very difficult filler that is actually.
Maybe it's different cultures, maybe they use it, I don't know. Let me call Toastmaster Saket for the grammarian report.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. I'm the grammarian for today's meeting. And English is such a funny language. Grammar plays a crucial role in it. I don't know where to begin, so let's just jump in. So starting off, the not so good usages or a scope for improvement. There's more healthier, which can be referred as healthier, difficult to believe, difficult to understand, left on yourself, left to you. I would not. Runs in the sea, sails in the sea, ride on roads, travel on roads. Coming to the good usages, there's brunt, students of communication, simplification, under the bucket, heat of the moment, neural coupling, most relevant. And coming to the word of the day, there's only one fellow guest used. Yeah, so that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you for the detailed report, Toastmaster Saket. Good job. Let me call upon the PP Evaluator, Toastmaster Akshay Gupta.
Good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. So, being the parliamentary procedure evaluator today, I should have kept check on the number of phone rings and people walking out of the door, not during the applause and all. So, there was one phone ring and one or two people who walked out and walked in not during the time of applause. Other than that, there were no offensive topics which were spoken. Yes. So, thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshay. You did a fantastic job as PP Evaluator. You did not look at the notes either when introducing or speaking behind the lectern now, and keep taking more roles. So again, a round of applause to all the TAPG And now we have the Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Sharanye. So Toastmaster Sharanye is an experienced Toastmaster, and when she came and she continued the story with what President was saying. And then she also told a story about Vicky Kaushal and Katrina Kaif, and then how they, I think it's a manifestation couch or something like that. And and she also talked about manifestation, which is like it is all about clarity and how you work on it. So that message was very clear. She explained the structure of the meeting very clearly and introduced the role takers properly. And I think she is already a great speaker and she is very comfortable behind the lectern. Very confident delivery. If there is anything that that you can work upon is think about how you can take this to the next level. So one of the technique that we learned today is storytelling. Like, can you use storytelling? Or someone asked about pitches, creating pitches. So how can you take this, now you're like at a certain level, how you can take to the next level is something that you want to think upon, like where your passion lies and something that you can do. Other than that, it was a fantastic session. I will give it back to the president. Or the MC, I'm sorry.
I would request everyone to fill in your ballots. It is being sent on the WhatsApp group. I hope everyone have filled your ballots and cast your votes. Okay, I'm sure all of us had a great time here as an MBA grad. Okay, we are learning a lot of things on daily basis like this, and it added a lot of knowledge to me today. I'm sure all of you also gotten a lot of insights. So with this, back to the president.
We had a very fantastic evening today. Thank you to team Amitabha for such an insightful education session, and thank you role takers for making this a very great event. Let us quickly jump into the winners for the day. The best table topic speaker, it goes to DTM U Bhat. Moving on to the best role taker, TAPG. It goes to our grammarian Toastmasters Sakib. Moving on to the best role taker, MTG. It goes to the person who had a very innovative table topic session. It goes to our Toastmaster Pavani. So that's it from my end. With this, I close meeting number 1253. Let us start.